everyone's go-to source for all NFL news.
And we're going to get right to some breaking news here that just came down. This tweet from Adam Schefter.
Adam's on the phone. Adam, you got more news? What do you got?
They're going with another move.
And he was the man who knows all, Adam Schefter.
It's ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter.
I would just say that right now I think all options are on the table. I think that they went through that trade thing and they talked to teams, and it's not like those talks are shut down, but they didn't go anywhere. And when they don't go anywhere, it opens up the possibility that they could be back.
Adam Schefter on JGC is sponsored by Island Resort and Casino. Gaming, casual, and fine dining. 2 golf courses, a luxury spa, and live entertainment. Your total experience is at the Island. Also brought to you by Tony Wendorf and Associates. First Weber Real Estate Services. The real estate MVPs of Wisconsin. Get started today at wendorfteam.firstweber.com.
Oh, Adam Schefter, very popular all of a sudden here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Look at all those folks that want to be associated with our guy, Adam Schefter. Good morning, Adam, from your dark dungeon lair. What's up?
Yeah, I guess I should put on both lights in my office. I have one light on, and it's not shining on me the right way. It's making me look like I'm a character out of The Shining right now, I think.
It's fine. You still look great, bud. Chew, I guess you wanted to talk to Adam about some...
I can't take it anymore, Adam. TJ Watt, he's not going anywhere. I know it's talk radio. You know what it is to me? Like, and I've checked out. My saying for the day is I don't have the strength. It's like Wisconsin could get 900 inches of snow in a night. But if New York gets 6 inches, it's, catastrophic. Catastrophic. Is TJ Watt going anywhere?
Look, I think we all would agree. It's hard to imagine that Pittsburgh would move off of him, and we don't expect that they're going to trade him. But I'm just telling you right now, it's July 2nd, and this has been unsettled for weeks, if not months, and he's not happy. So where's this going? Now, again, I think we all would agree. The most likely outcome by far is that he winds up on the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are adamant about having him finish his career. But you know what? It's a window into his thinking and what's going on in the state of relations between the two sides. He's not happy. They're not close. This needs to be fixed one way or another by both sides. And if it's not, it's going to linger on. And this question is only going to increase over time.
Yeah, but
is that fair, Chewy?
Yeah,
is that fair?
But they don't make those moves at corner if they're going to weaken their defensive line. To me, that's just it'd be.
Look, I'm not here to tell you they're trading TJ Watt. I do not expect that.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is there's an unresolved issue that other teams are charting and monitoring, and they're waiting to see if the two sides can get it settled as we think that they would be able to, but they have not been able to do yet. And Pittsburgh has gone out and spent money on Darius Slay and DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers and Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith, but they haven't paid the one guy who's going to get the most money, who's the biggest heart and soul of that team, who's not happy on July 2nd.
Can you tell us who kicked the tires?
Well, I can tell you that there have been a couple of teams I've spoken to. They're like, is there any way, that they'll trade him to us? Again, my answer to that team is the same as it is to you. I don't think it's happening. I don't expect it. I also will say, and I'm not trying to raise the antenna. Again, I want to be very clear. The most likely outcome by far is that he's back with Pittsburgh, but it is still unresolved. And at one point in time, the Las Vegas Raiders also said, we are not trading Khalil Mack. Only after a summer of contract discussion failures did they turn around and trade him on Labor Day. Do I think it's happening here? No, I don't. But it's also unresolved, and other teams are waiting and watching and monitoring it to see if at some point they need to step in and make an offer to a team that also has a lot of draft capital and is going to want a lot more draft capital for the future for a quarterback when the draft is in its city.
Adam, we're pretty pumped up here in Milwaukee after what the Bucks did yesterday, but it was shocking. It was surprising. Nobody saw it coming, and then they had to do something that we've never seen anybody do in terms of the waiving and stretching of the Damian Lillard contract. Can you think of a deal in the NFL that just came out of nowhere that really shocked or surprised you?
Well, it does happen. Let me just say this. Again, from the outside, I know nothing, right? I don't know anything. I watch it like you guys watch it. But when Damian Lillard is waived, he has his next home. Okay? He has his next home. He knows where he knows where he's going. Okay? I know that thing is done in advance. Okay? So he didn't want to be in Milwaukee no more. They have it set up for him to go, whether he's going to Golden State or Miami or whatever the hell it is. Okay? But he's leaving. And he has it all set up to go wherever he's going to go. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. These things are done in advance. Okay? I might be wrong. It's not my regular sport. But I just think that that's the kind of thing that's set up in advance. A football comparison.
Because, this just came out of nowhere because the Bucks didn't have any cap space, and then they did what they did with Dame to create that cap space. Like just a move that kind of came out of left field.
Did Joe Montana happen quickly, Adam?
Joe Montana was traded 5 days before the draft from San Francisco to Kansas City.
I remember that. That was a pretty big shock.
Was that that they moved off of one of the greatest quarterbacks of that generation? That was pretty shocking when they did that.
Yeah.
Let me just think here a second. I'm sure there are great examples. First of all, in football, it happens all the time.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen suddenly in the NFL. It feels like people like you get hear the whispers, let the people like us know, and then we're all braced for it by the time it happens.
How about Tom Brady moving off the Patriots?
Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah,
right. How about Aaron Rodgers moving off the Packers?
That was the first one I thought of, just because of when it occurred. Right, it was such a big.
But, that was a breakup that seemed like it was
inevitable, a long time coming.
On its
but
way
hold
to
on. But the story, and it had been building for a while. And that was the whole thing. There were a lot of conversations and a lot of people chattering. And then it came out on draft morning. I report on draft morning. A lot of people in Wisconsin not happy about the timing of that. A lot of people, but the fact of the matter was, the way that it worked was, not to go back over history or anything. The night before, Kyle Shanahan called Matt LaFleur to see if there's any way they would trade Aaron Rodgers. And when that happened, and when it got out there, well, what the hell's going on? And minicamp starting in a week, and he's not going to be there. Well, there's your window. Kyle Shanahan created with the call. The next week, the mandatory. I'm sorry, it's the morning of the draft or the afternoon of the draft, but the story has to be told now because it's going to be relevant. It's coming to a head.
Adam Schefter on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy is brought to you by Tony Wendorf and Associates. Just like the moves made in the pros, Tony Wendorf and Associates, First Weber Real Estate Services, helps people make their own big moves every day. Trusted knowledge, superior service. They're the real estate MVPs of Wisconsin. I'm seeing reports now that there is movement towards this 18-game regular season. It sounds like formal negotiations won't start at least until the beginning of next year. Oh, that's right. We're only 6 months away from 2026. How soon before you think the 18-game season is a reality? 2027, 2028? So Jen, what do you think, Adam?
Yeah. So there has been no movement then because there have been talks. So it's really not anything different other than people saying that there is expected to be discussions after this season in 2026, which again, I don't, okay, there's a specific timeline, but we've been saying all along they're going to be moving towards an 18-game season. And I don't know, my guess, if I had to guess off the top, and it's purely a guess, we're probably 2-3 years away from it. Just a guess. The CBA, I believe, is up in 2030. Maybe it waits till then. It could. I don't think it'll be later than that. And it certainly could be earlier than that. So my guess is somewhere between, 28 and 30, they implement an 18-game season. They figure out a way to do it. They tear up the CBA. They extend the CBA. Players get more money, more benefits, more of whatever they want. Nobody's going to want the 18-game schedule on its surface. It's crazy to think about, but here's what I would say to that. If you asked any player, and I'll start with Chewy right here. Would you rather have 17 weeks and 1 bye, or 18 weeks and 2 buys and more money? What would you rather have, Chewy?
More money.
That's the only part you've heard. What about the 18 games and the 2 buys?
I'll take more money.
So you can convince yourself to play one more NFL game if there's more money involved.
Especially now. I mean, the way they practice.
Especially with an extra bye, right, Chewy?
Yeah,
Especially
exactly.
with an extra bye. That's how it's. I'll bet you that's how it's going to be sold. 18, 2 buys, 2 buys. So we give you an extra bye, we get an extra game, and you get more money.
So do you,
that's
Adam,
what's going to happen.
Do you think they'll take that bye away right before the Super Bowl? Or they don't
I
care?
don't know where you know what you do? You shorten the preseason a week. You move up the schedule. You have everything start Labor Day weekend. You know, you get everything going Labor Day weekend. Have it go through President's Day. Tack on the 18 games. Gives you more. I mean, by the way, like to offer more money, we add the 18th game. We now have an extra package of games, a 14-game package, which will make an international package that will sell to Amazon or to Peacock or to Netflix, whoever. Somebody's going to pay for that streaming service. It's going to be $2 billion. You know, the league's going to keep however much, an extra $1 billion for nothing, adding on a game. And the players will get more money to split up.
Well, while we're on the topic of player safety, it seems to be a lot of domes are being built, Adam, are going to be built. Has the players' complaint about natural grass versus turf fallen on deaf ears? See, what I would do if I was the players, in the CBA is in 30, right, Adam? I would go in and say, hey, we'll stop talking about playing on grass and we're okay with playing on field turf. If you give us a post-play insurance package.
Well, again, it's going to be up to them to ask for whatever benefits they feel like they can get. And the other thing, I don't know the answer to this, the turf, the field, the grass that's in these stadiums now, like, is it unsafe? Is it? Do they put in like Arizona? They grow the grass and it's closed. Can they do that in Cleveland or not? I don't know. Probably
Buffalo,
not. It's probably too cold.
See, here's my feeling, Adam, because I played when it was just starting to come out. Mm-hmm. In bad weather, rain, snow, I would rather play on field turf. I think it's a better surface than natural grass. And, when it's nice out, I would rather play. So I think the players are kind of making a big deal of it when it really shouldn't be, because there are benefits to field turf.
Chewy,
I believe.
Chewy, if I were Lloyd Howell, I'd be making a big deal of everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
Everything's a problem. Everything's an issue. Okay? And let's figure out where we go to make us content on those issues that I'm all pissed off about.
Yeah. Since we're talking about the CBA a little bit, Adam, you think there'd ever be a push to not allow players to do what TJ Watt and company are doing, which is
they did that, Jen. They did that, Jen.
But they still do the sit-ins. They still do the, you know what I mean? Like, we're still here.
No. Hold on. The fines for mandatory minicamp, which I believe the CBA was done how long ago? In 2020, I'm going to guess, right?
Yeah.
So the mandatory fines for those veterans is $107,000. Now, at that time, the top pass rushers were probably making $10 million a year, $15 million a year, I'm going to guess. Okay. And 107, I don't care what you're making, $107,000 is $107,000. But when you're making 30 plus million, it's a lot easier to make a statement. So the fine schedule needs to be adjusted in the new CBA. Plus, if TJ Watt or Trey Hendrickson or Terry McLaurin decide that they don't want to report to training camp, again, it's mandatory $50,000 a day. The issue is, let's just say any one of these holdouts goes on for 10 days, we just came up with a number, okay? And you racked up $500,000 in non-excusable fines. Well, guess what? When they reach the contract agreement, and this is on the teams, and they say, okay, Terry McLaurin, you're going to be making $25 million a year. The agent says, oh, hold on.
Tack it on.
Can we just make it 25.1 so that we have the fine? Okay. And there you go.
Exactly.
So
you
the player,
were talking about that the other day.
Adam, you know what is BS about that whole thing? And we were pissed off in the day. That fine money goes to charity, and we can't write it off. The league's able to write it off, which would fry our hands.
I didn't know that. That is a bunch of BS. That's a bunch of BS. Okay, you know what? There's one more thing for Lloyd Howell to be pissed off about.
There you go.
Add it to the list.
Yeah, Chewy's in rare form today. What else is new? Adam, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Real good stuff this morning. You can understand we're very excited about the Milwaukee Bucks here in Milwaukee, but obviously don't want to ignore what is going on around the NFL. Thanks for hanging.
I believe Dame knows where he's going. I don't know. Certainly he knows the options of where he's going, right? At the very least, he knows, okay, I'm going to wind up either here or there. But it wouldn't surprise me if he knows exactly where he's going.
Him and TJ Watt.
Know exactly where they're going?
Well, TJ doesn't know where he's going yet. TJ thinks, I would think that TJ, we all think he's going to be in Pittsburgh, but it's not settled. That's the problem.
I know. I'm just grinding you.
It's his
Yes,
favorite
you are.
thing to do.
I'm good
It's his
at
favorite
it.
thing to
I'm
do,
good
Adam.
at it, Adam.
Yep.
Our conversations each and every week with Adam Schefter, brought to you by the Island Resort and Casino. It's a premier resort destination, the largest north of Milwaukee, with everything you like to do in one awesome location. Visit islandresortandcasino.com and book your total experience today.
Hey guys, it's Jen from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Thanks for watching our clip. I'm sure it was super informative and educational. I'm just kidding. I love those knuckleheads. And we do it live every Monday through Friday from 7 to 9 a.m. on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee. Make sure that you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you get informed anytime we drop new content.